Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today for our Romance in Travel video podcast. This series takes us each month to a new destination where we explore our world looking for the most romantic experiences it has to offer. Last month, we were in Croatia and Montenegro, and today we are traveling to Australia and New Zealand. The recording of our past events, as you may already know, are all available on the TravelStore website. It's travelstore.com, and you can find them on our Talking Travel page. A special thank you for our returning customers. Your support and trust means everything to us. And if you're new to TravelStore, welcome. Please join us and find out how we can enrich your lives with our special travel touch. My name is Florence, and here I manage the honeymoon and destination wedding division. My team and I, we have a passion for travel, of course, but we prefer it with a little hint of romance. So today, Australia and New Zealand, finally. Oh boy, have we missed being able to travel down under. Aussies are finally able to start planning their vacations again. And soon the happy news are going to come to us here in the US, and we'll be able to go there as well. So in preparation for these happy days, it became a priority for us to bring Australia and New Zealand to you. All right, so as usual during the podcast, if you have any questions, please put them in the Q&A box, and Katie here will pick a few to address live. If we don't have time to address them, we'll get back to you with the answers to those questions next week. Okay, so please help me welcome Katie. Hi, Katie. Katie loves Australia and New Zealand. She's been there several times, and I know she cannot wait to go back there soon. Hi, Katie.
Hi, Florence. Welcome, everyone, to the Land Down Under. I'm so thrilled to introduce our partner, Libby Cook, as she represents some of the most unique, spectacular properties in Australia and New Zealand. Talk about experiential luxury. Wait until you see what she has. Libby will take us to just a few of these fabulous destinations. We will visit the one and only Wolgan Valley, not far from Sydney in the Blue Mountains. We will go to Qualia on Hamilton Island for a great barrier reef experience. We will learn about Longitude 131 in Uluru, formerly known as Ayers Rock, to experience the outback and some local culture. Then we hop over to New Zealand, to the beautiful Hookah Lodge on North Island, one of the most elegant lodges I've ever seen. Now let's begin our virtual journey. Libby, take us to the lands down under.
Oh, thank you, Katie. Thank you, Florence, and thank you all of TravelStore for allowing me to share some of the best of Australia and New Zealand. Let's go. Most all flights depart from the west coast of the U.S., predominantly Los Angeles or San Francisco. It's a short 12.5-hour flight. Now you do cross the international date line, meaning you lose a day on your arrival to Australia, but don't worry, you gain it on your way home. Typically arrivals into Sydney occur first thing in the morning, so you really do maximize that day of arrival, and there's so much to experience. It is truly one of the most beautiful cities in the world. There's so many ways to experience it. With the iconic Sydney Opera House, where you have opportunities to tour the Opera House. TravelStore can organize some theater tickets for a performance. There's about 5 different stages within the Opera House. There's backstage passes as well. We also have the gorgeous botanical gardens just behind the Sydney Opera House. We have the Central Business District, or what we call the CBD, that backs right into the old part, the Rocks it's called, right at the base of the Sydney Harbour Bridge. But again, TravelStore can organize a boat to get you out onto the water, as you can see Katie here with the Sydney Bridge behind her. A must experience, I've got to say, is a bridge climb. Now, you can see in our photos here, we've all done it, either daytime or nighttime. Can be highly romantic if you wanted to have a special occasion, maybe a proposal on top of Sydney Harbor. So truly magnificent. Ladies, what were your thoughts on your experiences, your
I
climb?
was so happy to do it at night. For I like to see all those lights. It was just amazing. Loved it.
And I thought it would be harder and scarier. And it was not either one. It was not scary at all. It was easy, much easier than I anticipated. And next time I go back, I want to do the nighttime hike.
Yeah, it's truly a must experience, and not as scary as Florence had thought, or Katie, because you're so roped in, and it's really quite a wide base that you're climbing. It's not a harrowing, narrow ladder of any kind. So a few days absolutely is a must to explore Sydney, Bondi Beach. There's surfing. There's so many very intimate experiences. Highly recommend an Indigenous walking tour through the rocks and seeing the arrival of the first fleet through the Aboriginal perspective. That's a really beautiful way to start a Sydney experience. So let's move on to our first lodge, which is Emirates' one and only Wogan Valley. And this lodge is located in the Blue Mountains, which are just outside of Sydney. It is part of the luxury lodges of Australia. I should mention there is an arrival transfer, 45 minutes, where you fly over this gorgeous mountain range, and you are immersed into this destination. The Luxury Lodges of Australia is a collective of some of Australia's remarkable experiential luxury, showcasing all destinations outside the city centers. So regional experiences, but they create a very immersive, very clear sense of place comes through in the experience. So here at Wogan Valley, it's an Australian bush experience, an opportunity to explore the mountains, remarkable hikes. You can see we're set in a valley, 7,000 acres at our disposal. It is a part of the one and only family, so you know that equates to remarkable food and wine, the culinary experience, the soft furnishings, the suites, each one coming with a full-size pool. You breathe a little bit deeper here. It really does speak to your senses. So remarkable hikes, there's mountain biking, there's stargazing, opportunities for picnics out, but ultimately, and a remarkable spa on property, but ultimately it's to see the wildlife. And it's like a bit of an Australian safari. We have kangaroos and wallabies and wallaroos and wombats. The center photo is a wombat, for those of you unfamiliar. The wombats are delightful. They are a giant guinea pig, essentially. They're actually related to the koala, but it's through our beautiful guides that they showcase and they bring this destination and wildlife to all of us. So we begin to better understand the destination. We feel the destination. And so you do really savor those quieter moments. Now, throughout Australia, there's other chances to see wildlife. Here at Wogan Valley, we do not actually have koala, but nearby there are chances up in the scenic rim. It's everything to see these kangaroos, especially up close. And that is, Katie, that is another one of our TravelStore advisors, right? Down on Kangaroo Island.
Yes, I took that picture. I was with her and it was awesome.
So it is a fascinating wildlife viewing on throughout Australia, I should say. To see a joey, which is everything kind of makes you giggle. It's just a very funny series of wildlife down under, which is so very foreign to all of us up here. So now for them, the Aussies find deer fascinating because there are no deer in Australia. So it's I'll take a kangaroo over a deer.
For sure. Thank you so much, Libby. Wow, it's amazing to find out what is right there outside of Sydney. And this 45-minute helicopter flight must be just fabulous, leaving the city.
It sure is.
There, yeah. So, but I wanted to ask you, what is you personally your favorite romantic experience at this property?
At Wogan Valley, I would probably have to say I do enjoy the outdoors. I enjoy the hikes. There's a wonderful hike up to a glowworm cave, which doesn't sound very romantic, but it can be if you bring that bottle of wine, maybe a little charcuterie with you, and have a bit of a private picnic overlooking that valley and kind of just having what we call a privilege of place with those exclusive access and those private moments. So yeah, just kind of taking yourself off and embracing and immersing yourself in the mountains.
It sounds magical. Yeah, thank you. Katie, do we have a question for the one and only?
Yes, I have a question that says, can I hold a koala?
That's a very, very frequently asked question. You can hold a koala in 3 states in Australia, and that would be Queensland, South Australia, and Western Australia. So if you're in Sydney or Victoria, which is where Melbourne's located, you're not able to hold a koala, but you can stand next to a koala. But if you find a wildlife park in Queensland, South Australia, or Western Australia, then yes, there might be a chance for you to be able to cuddle a koala.
What about a baby kangaroo?
Baby kangaroos, more so in or more of them being orphaned or in wildlife sanctuaries where you may be able to feed them with a bottle. You've probably seen some of those images where they're tucked in almost like a swaddle. So that is a little bit more niche. It's not restricted by state though.
Fantastic.
Okay, let's carry on.
Thank you, ladies. Yeah, where are we going next, Libby?
I am going to take us up to Hamilton Island to Qualia. Now, this is just over a 2-hour flight from Sydney up to HTI, which is the airport on Hamilton Island. The reason we're headed here is this is a gateway to the Great Barrier Reef. This island, as you can see, is about 7 miles long. There's quite a bit of activity on the island. There's 12 restaurants, there's world-class sporting events. You can see the regatta, which is fascinating. These islands, the Whitsundays, are renowned for sailing, breathtakingly beautiful. And where Qualia sits on this island, it's a private gated property on the northern tip, to the far right tip of the picture there. It is Qualia. Qualia means collection of deeper sensory experiences. This property is subtle. Delivers a remarkable, sophisticated experience. It's barefoot at the same time. It's adults only, 16 years and older, so kind of exudes romance. It is very couples friendly. We have 60 individual pavilions, big suites that are standalone, and half of them have the plunge pool. So yes, you have a very difficult time just leaving your sanctuary here, but you can enjoy on property our spa, the 2 restaurants, but we give everybody a golf cart so you can venture back to the village and enjoy the island. But here it's all about the experiences, as it is with all of these luxury lodges. And it's about exploring both the Whitsunday Islands, which is the image on the left. That's Hill Inlet on Whitehaven Beach, 4 miles of white silica sand, always one of the top beaches in the world. Conversely, you might spend a day out at the Great Barrier Reef, and we have access by a motor yacht, sailing charters. Helicopter is my preferred means, and as it provides the most remarkable perspective to look down on the Great Barrier Reef. I always say, sort of imprints into your soul. You never forget this imagery. It is just breathtakingly beautiful. And the newest experience that Qualia offers is an opportunity to have this exclusive access to Hart Island. Now, Hart Island is a natural coral reef that you can see. We now have our own helipad, floating pontoon, moored out just adjacent to Hart Island. And you fly over the reef, you come in for a landing, enjoy the lounge, snorkel right off the pontoon. You're on the Great Barrier Reef at this point. Now, tucked inside is our 007 glass bottom boat, which we will then take you and circumnavigate and drive around the Hart. So this video here kind of gives you a little bit of a sense of the Qualia experience, which I mentioned is that kind of exclusive, quite sensory. So that's just a little bit about Qualia. And again, it delivers a remarkable Great Barrier Reef experience, but really, really speaks to that romance or special occasion type travel.
Yeah, and I mean, this hot island experience, oh my God. Top
It's
10
a-
romantic things to do for sure.
I
Yeah,
have written that one down on my list.
Oh, yeah.
absolutely,
Lily,
ladies.
what's your favorite thing to do at Qualia?
So I was there prior to the hard island experience, but truly one of my favorites is a sunset motor cruise with some canapes and maybe a glass of bubbles or a cocktail in hand, and just cruise amongst these islands. To look back onto Hamilton Island, I always love that perspective, and it truly is a beautiful series, beautiful part of Australia. So I love a cocktail sail.
Oh, yeah,
Well,
for sure.
I guess you're seeing a theme here: cocktails, bottle of wine.
Helicopter, I like that theme.
Yeah, we'll stick with that theme. Perfect, exactly.
Petey, do we have a question for Qualia?
We do. I've got several questions here. The first one is, where is the best place to snorkel?
Oh, well, we have such great access with our operators to really take a look at what the conditions are doing at that time. And so these boats can tuck into bays, coves, various parts throughout the reef. And so we kind of leave it up to them to take us to the best conditions for snorkeling or diving.
Great. And then the next question is, what about the stingers?
Oh, the stingers. Well, we refer to those as box jellies or stingers, and they can be a little bothersome. But what all of our properties and all of our outfitters provide are like a wetsuit, a very thin wetsuit. They call it a rashie. It's more of a protective layer. It also helps with just keeping your body warm when you snorkel or when you dive, and just, like I said, just a protective layer. And so usually there's really no issue with those once you have the suit on.
Oh, good to hear. And then the last question is, what is the best time of year for Great Barrier Reef snorkeling?
Great Barrier Reef is anytime from really later March through November. That now you can absolutely visit Qualia year round and venture out to the Great Barrier Reef, but the months of later December, truthfully, January, February, early March, that's the height of summer, and it can just be tropical. You might have a passing, shower come through. So a little bit more of a risk with the weather at that point, but absolutely you can, if that's when you're visiting Australia, you can still experience a Great Barrier Reef at that time.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. Libby.
Okay.
Yes, our next stop.
Next stop is the spiritual heart of Australia. I'm taking you to longitude 131, which is located at Uluru, the new name, the revised name, the updated name for Ayers Rock. And that is just about a 4-hour flight. And truthfully, you are in the geographical center of Australia. And like I said, the most sacred, the most captivating for the Aboriginal people. So here it is a cultural connection. You're here to better understand the significance of this location to the Aboriginal people, their culture, to better understand their beliefs and their traditions. Now, when staying at longitude 131, we have unparalleled access and views of the reef. This is generously inclusive, which means we are all inclusive at this property, more so than probably almost every other luxury lodge, meaning not only are your accommodations, all of your meals, most all of your signature touring experiences, but also help yourself to the wine cellar and help yourself to one of our number of cocktails and rehydrate, dehydrate, whatever you'd like. So the amenities at Longitude are just beautiful. We dine out under the stars every other night. And if you can imagine the night sky and the depth of stars, wonderful views. You can sleep out on your balcony here under the stars, wake up to a sunrise over Uluru. This is, again, a sacred destination. You begin to feel it similar to like a Sedona or some of those other significant destinations. We are here about it's all about the connection and better understanding the significance. And so our guides will organize excursions to both Uluru, which is Ayers Rock, as well as Katajuta, which is the image on the bottom here, which is another UNESCO World Heritage listed site just about 40 minutes away. This was sacred to the men. Uluru was sacred to the women. So two different sets of stories. We have walks that we organize. We have sunrise. We have sundowners. But it's about, again, it's about those quieter moments and taking and kind of beginning to feel the destination. Other opportunities, again, helicopter, an aerial over the rock, which is magnificent. We can arrange for some private guiding if you'd like, or maybe a camel ride. I think with most of these properties that I'm mentioning with the luxury lodges, at least a 3-night stay is optimum, so that you can slow the pace down and begin to really understand that significance and really kind of feel it. Here, we have at times artisan residence, which is fascinating. It's our relationship with the Ernabella Arts community. This is a closed arts community, and at times we'll have them on property painting. We feature their artwork at the lodge. We actually commission and sell their art and their pottery. So at Longitude, it's a mix of gorgeous hospitality, the food, the wine, make yourself feel at home. It's really quite subtle and in barefoot, but you're at the most culturally significant landmark within Australia. So you're really better understanding what longitude means, and we'll take you there. So that's longitude 131, usually a must in so many people's itineraries.
Yes, I mean, these colors are just so intense and pristine. Oh my God, sunset or sunrise, why choose? I would be a both. What is your favorite romantic experience there, Libby?
I would probably say sleeping out under the stars. If you can imagine a horizon, and then there's absolutely no ambient light, there's no obstruction of any kind. And so your night sky starts here and goes up and over. So it's almost as if you're inside a dome or a snow globe of stars. It absolutely is, yet again, another breathtaking experience. And then to wake up and have the sun behind the rock, it's really quite remarkable.
Oh, you're giving me chills. Thinking about the sky, those stars that we do not see here at home, very different sky over down there.
Yeah, and the depth of the stars, the Milky Way and all of that, it's really, yes, very, you feel such gratitude for having the opportunity just to be there.
Right. Katie, any questions?
Well, yes, one said, can I climb the rock?
Oh, well, previously that was an activity, but no longer. It was September of 2019 when they prohibited climbing of the rock. Now, it is their most sacred landmark, so it's really sacrilegious. So now that's really quite nobody would climb the rock today. It would be disparaged, right?
And then what about how hot does it get?
Well, it is the outback, and think of that as an Arizona landscape, Nevada. So in the height of summer, upwards of 120 degrees. So that would be a kind of in the January, February, early March months. You'd be, but now it's a dry heat. It's a dry heat. So if you're planning a trip to Australia, maybe during the Australian summer, December, January, February, there are plenty of places to experience. Maybe we don't go into the outback. Maybe we frame that itinerary down to explore Tasmania or South Australia. So there's always somewhere to go and to avoid some of those extremes.
Right. All right.
Thank you. Whew. Where
okay.
can we possibly go after this?
go to New Zealand. Now, there's so much experience in both countries, but I do realize that you receive requests to combine the two. So
We do, yeah.
surprisingly, New Zealand is a 3-hour flight. That's New York to Miami. That is it's so easy to then fly to Auckland, which is right, as you can see, kind of the northern part of the North Island. I am then taking you, staying on the North Island, but to a town called Taupo. And this is the center of the North Island. It's also where Huka Lodge is located. And you can see here, there's a Lake Taupo, which is quite significant, the size of Singapore. We are located just upstream from the famed Huka Falls. And this is our lodge here. Oh, well, let's go by helicopter. That's how we travel here at TravelStore.
It is true. It is true.
It is true. So you can absolutely fly commercial, or you can helicopter. And when you helicopter, you land right on the lawn, right in front. So it's really quite a grand entrance when arriving by helicopter. The Huka Falls, as I mentioned, just a quarter mile downstream. So a wonderful trail that takes you. This is one of the most visited areas in the North Island. Such energy here. You can actually jet boat down to the base of these falls as well. But the area is renowned for fly fishing. In fact, Huka opened 97 years ago as a fly fishing lodge. So a stay at Huka Lodge absolutely delivers fly fishing, but the town of Taupo, this whole region, is renowned as the adventure capital of the North. So we have a full array of experiences. Most significantly on arrival, you're met with this gorgeous landscaping. There's some formality with our very pristine hedgerows mixed with some native foliage. And then you're met with this Waikato River backdrop. It's the energy, it is calming, it is balancing. Many people, this is their favorite stop within New Zealand. I do recommend, and the TravelStore team know, to place this at the end of an itinerary, because it's a place to savor all of the experiences, all that you've seen and done throughout New Zealand. Then you come to and just process it all with remarkable hospitality and service. And we are a part of Relais and Chateau. Now the price point and the pricing, I should say, and the tariff are inclusive of a gorgeous country breakfast and later evening cocktails, canapes, and a gorgeous 5-course degustation served in 20 different locations throughout the property. So we're all inclusive and a Relais and Chateau. Typically, you don't have those two. You don't hear those two in the same sentence. So people really do savor the food, the wine at Huka Lodge. Each of our suites beautifully overlooks the river. And again, there's this wonderful energy with the rapids right out in front. If you do have a larger entourage, another couple or two, you can enjoy some of our larger residences, but it's all about getting out and experiencing. So amazing helicopter. We can fly you around volcanoes and then touch down and have a beautiful breakfast out in the wilderness in the bush. Organize half day, full day, fly fishing. Oh, we can go biking. We actually are in a geothermal area. So we have some wonderful hot springs. We can take you out onto Lake Taupo for some fishing and view some Maori rock carving, which is only accessible by water, as you can see. There's gliding, there's bungee jumping. I always recommend, and the TravelStore advisors would absolutely integrate a Maori experience. Again, core to the New Zealand, the Kiwi story. So whether it's with us at Huka or somewhere else throughout the country. So much to experience. Let me just take you back, show you a little video imagery here. All right, let's see. There we go.
much, Libby.
Oh, we're starting again.
Amazing. And yes, we would love to have a 3 weeks vacation in Australia only,
Oh.
3 weeks in New Zealand only, but we do get those requests for, visiting the two countries together. And Hukalat is such a perfect stop in New Zealand when short on time. So, Libby, what's your favorite romantic experience at Hukalat?
I would say at Hoka Lodge, really probably the dining. I mentioned the 20 different locations. Each evening creates a different ambiance, a different feel. And if you're there with your special someone, it's very, very romantic. It's very special. It could be within the wine cellar. I personally love just the jetty, which is just along the river edge. So there's outdoor fireplaces if there's a bit of a chill in the air. They've thought of everything, and it's so beautifully delivered, the culinary.
Yeah. Katie, any questions?
Yes, I have a question that says, can I go fly fishing with a ghillie? Can you arrange a ghillie?
We can absolutely arrange a ghillie. That's a guided experience. And as we have so many beautiful rivers, you can fish right out front, as you can see here, but we do have some real special fishing holes, either half day, full day, or even heli fishing. That's very popular, the heli fishing.
Great. And the other question was about golf. Is there any golf nearby?
Yep. We have two signature courses. One is Kinloch and one is the Rakatai course. Both are between 20 and 40 minutes. So for a keen golfer, they can actually play both courses. Although, let's get out on the river, let's fly fish, let's go hiking. But New Zealand is renowned its golf.
Thank you.
All right. So now, Katie, would you like to review, please, the travel requirements to Australia and New Zealand as we know today?
Well, as of today, travel is still restricted from the US to both Australia and New Zealand, but we do anticipate these countries will open soon. We're keeping an eye on the restrictions. Australia is now allowing visitors from New Zealand and Singapore, and the Australians are traveling again. So we're hoping the borders will fully open in the coming months, and we will be sure to let all of our clients know as soon as that happens.
Right, beginning of 2022. But I would suggest not to wait too long to prepare for your vacation. Australia and New Zealand are two destinations that requires a time for us to be able to create those fabulous travel experiences. 10 months ahead of time, 11th month ahead of time, we really need that extra time. As you see, those lodges are small, and we want to be able to find that space for you.
I do have a few more questions that came through.
Yeah, we have a little time. Go ahead, Katie.
One of them is about the Field of Lights out at Uluru. Is the Field of Lights still there? And if so, how long will it be there?
Okay, so the Field of Light is an outdoor art installation. The artist is Bruce Monroe, and you might have seen a similar art projects throughout the world. It is now a permanent art exhibit at Uluru. So what this is it's magnificent. It's the size of 4 football fields. It is 50,000 glass globe solar powered LED lights. So think of it like a tulip field. It goes up and it's got a little glass globe, and that comes to life at night, and the colors morph. It goes from a red to a yellow to orange, green, blue, and it's a current that runs through, and essentially you walk amongst the light, and it's quite an ethereal, it's a very quiet, solemn experience. When staying at Longitude, we take you at sundown, at early evening, and that is immediately followed by our dinner under the stars, so table 131. So it's a beautiful night. You then return back to your tents where they've lit the fire and they've rolled out the swag, which is a sleeping bag, and they encourage you to sleep out under the stars. So yes, nice. It's the whole package. It's quite a beautiful evening.
Any other questions?
I have another one that was asking about the condition of the reef. You know, we've heard about bleaching, like how is the reef doing?
So the reef is under watch, is the best. A lot of research being conducted. It's The reef is the length of the west coast of the US. So it's, what is that, 1,200 miles? It is a long, so you can see it from space, the Great Barrier Reef. So when you say when people say the reef is dead, that's very misleading. There are parts of the reef up far north that are being compromised, that a slight temperature increase, some increase in carbon, some environmental factors have created a stress. That's the best way to put it. But essentially the reef is fine through, overall. There's areas that are being researched at the moment.
All right, maybe one more question, Katie?
One more is, how is Australia coming back from those fires?
Oh, the bushfire recovery. Yes, the bushfires of December, January 2020. We're seeing beautiful regeneration. As you know, it's a natural process for fire to regenerate, and areas are showing resilience. There's some species that actually are spurred on because of the heat that opens up the seed pods. So in the Blue Mountains, down on Kangaroo Island, it's a flush of green. And yes, you know that there was a fire, but it's not that stark, harsh landscape that we all saw back in about a year ago.
A little bit like where I live.
Yeah, a little too close to home in California.
Right.
Right. I don't know if you have the regenerate, all of the flush of green after the math, but
all right, not this time of year, but in springtime, yes.
Well, thank you for letting me be a part of this beautiful podcast.
And thank you so much, Florence.
Yes, thank you so much for joining us today and share the love for Australia and New Zealand. We cannot wait for you to go back there and for us to help you get there. So next month, we will be traveling to Belize, and it will be our last podcast of 2022, and we will join you again in 2021. We will join you again in 2022, probably in February or March, take a little break in between. Thank you. Now I'm trying to put some music, Australian music for you before we leave. I found it. Okay.